everybody. Give me just a second. I'm making sure that everything is running okay over here on Facebook. I wish it would just come up and be there and then I wouldn't have to go looking for it, but it doesn't. So here we are. We are here.
Everybody.
And we are live, and you guys can make comments to me over on Facebook. If I might not see them right away, but I will answer all the questions that I see before I get off of the video. So I know that you can hear me because I just heard myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. You're not seeing my face today because I only have 2 cameras and they're set up for the table and for my sewing machine. So I didn't use my phone to sign in this time so you could see my face, but I promise I have clothes on. See, I have clothes on. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, these are our little flying geese. So these blocks are going to be used for the block of the month that we're doing for the Tilda Club. And it's the quilt is 2 different sizes of houses. So this is gonna be 2 small blocks, which we haven't made any of the small blocks for the quilt yet. So these are going to be our first 2 small blocks for the quilt. And so the little houses, these are their roofs. And I wouldn't normally put the same color or same fabric roof on 2 blocks that are next to each other, but I just made these up really quick just to show you how it'll look once the blocks are put together. So these won't actually be going next to each other in a block, but anyway, okay, so we're gonna get started. So the first thing I wanna do is I have 2 5 1/4 inch squares, and we're going to be making hourglass block out of these 2 squares. Anytime you wanna make an hourglass block, if you know what size you want your finished block to be, you just add 1 1/4 to that size, and you use two squares, and then you can make your hourglass block. So this block is going to be 4 inches square when it's finished. So these are 2 5 1/4 inch pieces of fabric. So I'm just going to mark a diagonal line on the back of one of them to start with. And then I'm going to put them right sides together. And then these, I'm going to make 2 blocks at the same time. So these strips are 1 1/2 inches by 11 inches, which is a little longer than what we need. And we're just going to make a little rail fence block out of these. So we'll go ahead and sew these together at the same time so that we don't have to go back and forth to the sewing machine a bunch of times. So I usually use my big ruler to move things over to my sewing machine. So that's what I'm doing. And we're going to go over to the sewing machine. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Renelle. It is Renelle, right? Oh my goodness. I think you told me something different the other day, but now I don't remember. So you're gonna have to remind me. Okay, so moving over to my sewing machine. And I'm gonna have to talk kind of loud because I only have 1 microphone and it is not next to my sewing machine. So I'm gonna have to yell at you a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down 1/4 inch away from the marked line, the marked diagonal line on my square. And then on the 2 strips, I'm just going to sew them together, 1/4 inch seam, just like you do with any other quilt block. Just putting the 2 strips that I sewed together aside for now. And I'm going to sew 1/4 inch away from the other side of the diagonal line on the squares. Okay, so So these two are done, and we're going to move back over to the cutting table. Okay, Renell, I'm glad that I got that. For some reason, I was thinking that you told me that you went by a different name the other day, but I guess it was somebody else. So I have just cut down that marked line, which is a diagonal line that was on that first piece of fabric that I marked. So now I have 2 half square triangles like this. And I'm just going to press those. And I'm going to press the 2 strips that I sewed together toward the dark strip. Okay, so on the 2 half square triangles, I'm just going to take one of them and I'm going to turn it so that the seam is going horizontally, and I am going to mark another diagonal line. And then I'm going to put these back together so that the seams are making an X. Wait, is that the way I want to go? No, this is the way I want to go. Just trying to make sure that I'm getting this right. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is take your seams and butt them up next to each other so that they're nice and tight up next to each other, and your diagonal line is going across your horizontal line. I'm going to put a pin in it, even though it is probably just fine without. I always pin because I am a happy pinner. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to the side for a minute, and we'll go back to the sewing machine with that in a minute. But in the meantime, what I want to do with these 2 strips that we've sewn together is I am going to cut them into, first of all, I'm going to make a straight edge because they always get a little wonky when you sew them together. So I'm lining up a straight line here on the bottom. I'm lining up a straight line at that center, and then making sure that the edge is nice and straight. And then I'll turn that around and start cutting from this side. I'm going to cut these in 2.5-inch pieces. And again, these are just really simple little blocks. Anybody can do these. These are basic beginner blocks that we're making. So we're going to cut 4 2.5-inch pieces. And I had you cut these a little bit long so that we had squaring up room at the ends of them, because as I said, when you sew them together, if I just had you do 10-inch piece, you'd have ended up with some wonky ends. And this way it makes it nice and straight. Okay, so now we have these 4, and what we're going to do is put them together like so. And what you can do with these is play around with them and see how you like them. This makes a nice, cute little pinwheel if you want to do it this way. Or if you just want to make them like bricks, you can do this. Or that, or that. So just figure out a way that you like them. And I like it like a little pinwheel, so I'm going to do it that way. And so that they don't get mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and put them on my little or my big square ruler and take them back over to the sewing machine. Hi, Amy. Hi, Sue. Few quilters know the method of making the hourglass, Sue? Okay, so we're just gonna do, oh, gotta move my microphone again. Otherwise, you're really not going to be able to hear me. Hold on. Okay, so we're just gonna do the same thing and sew down each side of our diagonal line. And I'm going to go ahead and sew the middle seams of the little pinwheel at the same time. And now I'm just sewing down the other side of that seam or of that line. And we'll move back over to the cutting table. So I'm just going to cut these apart right there on that diagonal line again. And there's our hourglass block. So this makes 2 blocks. I'm going to go ahead and press these. So by making your 2 squares 1.25 inches larger than your finished, you'll come out with not very much waste, but you'll have less for squaring. So if you really like to square things up and get them really, really square, you might want to make these 1.5 bigger than your finished size. But I will show you how to square them up. So that center should be, because this is going to be a finished 4-inch square, so we want it to be 4.5 after we trim it. We want this center point to be at 2.25. So I'm going to find my 2.25 line here. I'm going to get a straight line across the bottom, put that at 2.25, and then I can trim this side. And as you see, there's not much waste, very little tiny bit. And if we want to get it really good and square, we'll go 2.25 and 2.25, which is right here, and put that point right in the very center point. And you can go all the way around 2.25, 2.25, get it nice and straight. So there's our little hourglass block. I'm not going to bother with trimming the other one. And there it is with its little rooftop on. So cute. Maybe I like it this way better. You just have to play around with it and see how you like it best. I think I like it this way though. So that is one block done. And now I'm just going to press these. Our little rail fence. And I'm going to press one to the right and one to the left so that they go together easily. Okay, and I'm just going to take this back over to the sewing machine. So that last seam, so I have the center seam all butted up nicely together there in the center. And I'm just going to put a pin next to the seam and one in the end. And then that one's all done too. So there's our little pinwheel, and here it is with its house top on the top. It's so cute. I love anything that looks like a little house. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hi, Kay. How you doing? And I will see you guys if you're in the club. I'll see you on Thursday. And if not, I'll see you next Thursday or next Tuesday. Jeez, I keep saying the opposites. Anyway, if you're in the club, I'll see you on Thursday. And if you are not, I'll see you on Tuesday. And I hope you had fun. And I hope you are getting some sewing in. Oh, thank you, Laura. And it's super simple. So make one tonight. It's like less than 5 minutes to make that little block. So you should be able to do that real quick. So anyway, I will see you guys soon and have a great rest of your week if I don't see you soon. Thanks, Pamela. See you later.